Hello everybody, I am Dr. Ravi Suman Reddy. I am a senior consultant neurosurgeon working in Yashoda Hospital, Somajiguda. COVID-19 has put forth a lot of predicament to the neurosurgeons as such all over the world, and there have been almost 13 deaths in the neurosurgical community after COVID-19 has set in. And majority of these have occurred during the course of providing healthcare. So it is very imperative for us to know uh, the guidelines which now the Neurosurgical Society has given to all the neurosurgeons in India and to the general public itself. As far as possible, we are trying to defer elective surgeries. So majority of the spine surgeries and majority of the brain tumor surgeries, when there is no emergency, there is no evidence of any mass effect midline shift, there is no danger of any coning, the society is asking us to defer them for a period of 1 to 2 months or more if the situation helps us to do that. Any emergency surgeries vis-a-vis the bleedings or the infarcts or the subdural hematomas, as well as emergency brain tumors which come with coning, or spines presenting with neurological deficits, blah disturbances. These can be taken up for surgery, but with strict guidelines. So the most important is to maximize the avoidance of the neurosurgical drill as well as the CUSA, because these cause a lot of aerosolization in the operating theatre room, which is very dangerous and can be harmful to the staff as well as also to the patients, because these aerosols linger around in the atmosphere for a long time. So, and full use of PPE along with the visor as well as the N95 mask and a full-fledged PPE kit with proper precautions during donning and doffing. These are very imperative right now. Otherwise, we are going to lose more and more of our neurosurgical community to this deadly virus. So, along with the neurosurgeons, the ENT surgeons, and they say the dental and the ophthalmologists are the maximum at-risk individuals inside the operating theatre. Also, combined procedures which we do with ENT surgeons, which include the transsphenoidal approach through the transnasal route, should also be trying to be avoided at as far as possible. So, in this scenario where we are trying to defer the elective surgeries as much as possible, one ray of hope which is available to the neurosurgeons as well as the patient community is stereotactic radiosurgery. As you know, in stereotactic radiosurgery, it is a daycare procedure done on OPD basis, and there is no surgical surgery involved. There is no cutting, there is no blood loss, and it is very safe. And results long term have proved that it is as efficacious as open surgery in majority of the conditions, especially benign brain tumors and spine tumors lesser than 3 centimeters in size. And we have been treating patients from the last 2 months with this technique as we have been doing in the past. But we feel that this procedure has got more importance in the present era, because the risk of transmission of COVID from the patient to the healthcare provider or from the healthcare provider to the patient is very minimal in this procedure, because all social distancing norms and all the PPE we can use properly in this technique, and hence I believe that any benign brain tumor which is fits into the ideal criteria for stereotactic radiosurgery, like acoustic schwannomas less than 3 centimeter size, young patients whom we want to save the facial nerve, and difficult locations or recurrent and residual tumors, we should be able to provide them this opportunity. It is a very good alternative to open surgery, where the risk of transmission is so high, as well as the general risk of complications with the procedures are high. Other common things we have noticed in the spine department during this era is that a lot of people are now coming with radicular pains of the upper limb and the lower limb. As you know that the radicular pain of the lower limb, most commonly it is called as sciatica, which is a sharp shooting pain which goes from the back to the legs. Similarly, even in the arms, the same kind of pain can be experienced, which is called a cervical radiculopathy. Maybe because people now are doing more work on themselves, and they're not accustomed to doing all this work before, and also that physical activity is also not reduced because they're not able to do workouts. We are seeing the more increased number of problems, patients complaining and coming to us with these problems. Earlier times, medicine used to be the forefront, muscle relaxants and medications, followed which we used to do the MRI scans to diagnose where actually the problem is, and depending upon that, if the problem was very severe, we used to give them the option of surgery. But again, operating on these kind of patients in this time when we know that the asymptomatic patients of COVID are so high, and also the strict guidelines that we have, that we are not supposed to do COVID tests for elective surgeries or semi-elective surgeries unless they have respiratory symptoms. Nowadays, the best way to handle these is, if the pain reduction is not there with rest and medications, is to go for interventional spine procedures, which are very useful in this era, and which include just daycare procedures which are done under fluoroscopic control, and where a lot of precautions can be followed vis-a-vis the COVID precautions, and patients get excellent relief with these procedures. Included in them are transforaminal injections and the caudal blocks, as well as radiofrequency procedures for the spine, which may include for facet joints, as well as for even the sometimes the radiofrequency for the disc also can be done, so that patients get very good relief and we can avoid surgery in these difficult times. One more very important neurological condition which we see is acute exacerbating pain is the trigeminal neuralgia. And earlier we used to offer microvascular decompression as a mainstay of procedure for this. It's a very good surgery with very good results, about 95% pain free after the procedure. We had a very good alternative in the form of radiofrequency ablation for trigeminal neuralgia, which again is a very simple daycare procedure, and results are as comparable as with microvascular decompression with 90% pain-free interval post-procedure. In this era, I think it is more useful to us because we can avoid surgery in microvascular surgery, major surgery in the present COVID era, and we can do this daycare simple procedure where the protection can be much better followed. There is no need for general anesthesia. We just do it under local anesthesia, and the patient can be discharged on the same day without a need for inpatient stay. And very excellent results and immediate pain relief, and with lesser risk to the patient. So I think if there is anybody suffering from this trigeminal neuralgia, which in the past has also been called as the suicide disease, which causes severe lancinating pain along the jaw or to the maxillary area or to the eye area, I think radiofrequency ablation definitely gives a very good hope to these patients, and we should look at using this option in the treatment of trigeminal neuralgia more and more, especially in the era which we are living in right now. In conclusion, neurosurgical practice has changed a lot during the last 2 months, and it's going to be further refined, and the guidelines are going to change as the time progresses. But precautions should be mainstay of whatever we do, like how we used to take care with universal precautions with HIV or HBS AG. I think COVID is there to stay, and it's going to be part of our lives. So we should be geared up for a long-term action, how to deal with it. So wearing an N95 mask, visors, proper PPE kits during every procedure is very mandatory. And we should also try to explore more and more of non-invasive and non-surgical methods, and use technology much more in our day-to-day problem-solving abilities in neurosurgical and spine care. And I think finally we will be giving more and more safe procedures to the patient as well as to the healthcare provider. Thank you.